Yes, we are live. Yep.
Welcome back to the First Last Podcast, the show from the first, the last, the nerdum, where we explore cinema at its most unsettling, emotional, and unforgettable. This week, we're continuing our monthly theme, Innocence in the Dark, a series focused on stories where youth, purity, or vulnerability collide headfirst with horror. And for this week episode, we're diving into 2025's horror film Bring Her Back. This is a movie that leans hard into dread, grief, and the terror of what happens when innocence is placed in the hands of people who may not have the best intentions. Bring Her Back blends emotional trauma with creeping supernatural horror, asking how far people will go to undo loss and what it costs when darkness answers back. We'll be talking about how the film uses atmosphere and character to build fear, how it fits into the larger theme of innocence in the dark, and whether its horror comes from what we see or what we're forced to feel. So lower the lights, brace yourself, and remember, some things are gone for a reason. This is First Last Podcast from the First to the Last, the Nerdum, and Innocence in the Dark continues with Bring Her Back.
Yes, sir. What great intro, sir. Yes, we were kind of joking a little bit before we got online here and we got going. That this one was a stiff. This one was a hard one to take. I gotta admit. I had a hard time getting it started. I had to start it a couple different times and come back to it because it was just a little bit of a level of intensity that I just was not ready for. But after I got over the hump and got going, it definitely had a story to tell. And the pace, unlike opposite of our binge worthy this week, where it kind of takes its time and allows itself to build. This one. I'm not going to say it's going to be in and out, but it covers a lot of ground for what it does. And it does it, and it doesn't stop rolling. It doesn't stop moving. The cameras, you see everything. And the people who created this are probably known for their practical effects from their early career. And with that, I'll hand it back to you, but and we'll get into it here as we get to the plugging here for the First Last Nerdum. You can up on the screen now if you're watching us, we are the firstlastnerdum.com. That's our website. You can also find us here at First Last Nerdum on YouTube. Thanks to Tom's really cool shorts video, which I'm going to plug here really quick. Archie X, the Army of Darkness. I'm not going to say anything about it. Go see it. Go check it out. Just like the other 800 people who have. And we picked up a few subscribers, so we're very thankful for that. So I'm going to transition and hand it back over to you because I think you're going to carry us through the rest of our plugging. And back home, and then we can bring her back.
Bring her back. Yeah. I have a couple of places I show up for the social media. I'm on Reddit under First Last Nerdum, so you'll see me promoting our stuff there when it doesn't get deleted or banned. Also on X under First Last Nerdum. And I promote our stuff there as well. And Mike, you have social media as well.
Yes, sir, I do. Thank you. I too can be found on at SofaKingJewish _. You can also find me at SofaKingJewish on YouTube proper. The cat just killed my. All right. Anyway, there goes one of my lights. Anyway, but onto the show. This is the show. This Bring Her Back. Just brutal with I mean, just look at the thumbnail that Tom that this is obviously from the thing, but this is A24. This is like, you would think this would be right up my alley, but I'll be honest with you, in 2025 I did kind of go through a little bit of a dry phase for just hardcore serious things on the big screen. Like I had came off of seeing Warfare, which was just very good, and I just didn't quite get back into the routine of it. I did see Superman, and I did see a couple others, but I can kind of see why I didn't, because I was kind of aware of this one, because we both are members of that A24 thing. We did it for a year as a fun little thing. And I remember hearing and seeing about it, but I just didn't quite dig into it. And it was holy shit. It was a lot. But anyway, as we walk into it here, I'll hand it back to you and let you tee it up because you picked it this week. And this certainly does follow through in our series, Innocence in the Dark, which also makes it even harder to kind of stomach and whatnot, especially current events and today's current events with some other things going on in the news. But we're not that show. We're not that kind of show. So we'll leave that outside the door while we just focus on just fiction and entertainment. And boy, holy shit, this one was like this had a lot. Yeah, and I like you were saying, I saw it in the theater because we had the A24 thing going, and man, it's pretty intense when you see it up on the big screen and you got nowhere to go. You can't turn it off. You're locked in there seeing this. And I last year was huge as far as horror, and I think a lot of people wrote Sinners down as their favorite horror movie, but it had some stiff competition with Bring Her Back and Right.
Another movie we're going to talk about this month, Weapons. All three bangers. I would almost categorize Sinners more of an action movie compared to this one. One of the things we noticed last month during our Giallo run was there was a lot of drinking of J&B on the screen. And man, after this movie, we kind of needed a stiff drink, so we.
We're gonna get into that. This will loosen us up and
this
is from the Giallo that will save us, or at least do the thing. So while Tom does that here, I'm going to take it back a little bit, and I'm just going to talk about this glass here now. Now, I don't expect anybody long term to know what this glass is or what it's about, but a way long time ago when we were young and early in the show, the Expanse was still on and we covered it. And anyway, we talked about it anyway. We talked about it here and there, but one of the things that was cool was I found this. I think it was on Facebook Marketplace. I thought it wasn't real, but it was like from one of the people. Apparently, if you were part of the crew for the Expanse, as a parting gift, they gave you 2 glasses and a I don't know what it's called, but it holds the liquor and anyway, these are 2 very nice glasses. And so I was buying it. I bought it off that gentleman and he shipped it, and it was cool. And I think he was in Canada somewhere, and I'm not gonna say his name because I don't want to. But anyway, so long wind up to say using it for its purpose here, and so Tom virtually has a matching glass. We'll just pretend that he does. So we'll pour a drink here while we get going here in the show.
There's no backstory to my solo cup.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Now I am not a super big connoisseur of the thing, so this is mainly just ice because I cheat, so it waters it down.
ice baby. So Bring Her Back. This is the Danny and Michael Philippou, their second movie after Talk to Her, which we discussed a year or 2 back on our show. And man, this one brings the noise, man. This is something else. A brother and sister. Their father passes away, and they're kind of left with nobody to take care for them. And they're a little bit older. They're not super young. The girl's 12, and she is blind. And then she has her protective brother. And they don't want to be split apart. And there's this woman, that foster mother, that takes them in. And that's when the fun begins. You immediately know there's something a little bit off with this woman.
Yeah.
One of the things that was that impressed me was the the bond that the brother and sister seem to have.
That came through.
Yeah, you really want something good to happen to them, and then, man, that's not what happens in this movie. Your heartstrings get really pulled a lot to these two kids.
Well, you're essentially every scene of this sets these kids up that they're losers, that they're outsiders, that they're being pissed on, essentially. Life is pissing on them, and they from the brother, the Andy, who's very protective of his sister, to finding everything in this movie is born from negativeness, from tragedy. It's just kind of like little brush fires of tragedy that get amped up, and they get amped up around these certain people that we get to know, and who's who, and gee whiz, man. I mean, it really puts you. It didn't spare any punches. I mean, you're and it's almost like it's set in a certain way because of the scene. When you open up, this isn't a spoiler because this is the first few minutes of the film, but in the first 10, 15 minutes of the film, like these kids, these poor kids, like their dad is, they come across him, passed away, anyway. But and then there's a little bit more into that. Maybe we'll hit that part. But anyway, the point is that they're just born into this tragedy, and it just keeps going, and it is heartbreaking. It really is, because you feel for them. Anyway, I'll throw it back to Tom. Sorry.
Yeah, and I liked how the intro. I think the intro really said it quite well about what this month is. It's let's see. Let me see if I can find that. All right. You would think I'd be professional and have it all teed up, but yeah, no, yeah, it's like when you're dealing with kids, it's really makes it that much more. Yeah, a series focused on stories where youth, purity, and vulnerability collide headfirst with horror. I don't think I could have said it better that way.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, that sort of captures this month, and when you're dealing with kids, even if you don't have any yourself, you do have this sense of protectiveness, and I will say that the girl that plays Piper, Sora Wong, this is her first movie, and she is blind. So I don't think she's fully blind. I think she's blind in one eye and has partial vision in the others. So. But yeah, the directors, writers and directors, Danny and Michael, said that they really let her kind of bring something to the table as far as who this character is, and I think it's to the benefit. And they also said that they did kind of have a bonding trip between the brother and sister. They went to, I think, some sports game or something, and he was there to kind of describe what was going on to her and whatnot. And I think that kind of helped, really kind of cement that relationship. Even though they're actors and they probably, obviously they meet before the movie, you could really believe that there's like they've had years to become close. that closest. A lot of times when you're watching a movie, you realize these are actors, and they may do a great job, but I don't know. There's a sense of realness to these characters that go beyond just the printed page and the way that they're acting. There's just something about them that, and it makes it that much more tragic when bad things start happening, because, like I said, they seem real to you. A sense of realness to these characters that.
Yeah, the characters stick with you, and they don't leave you, including the quote bad ones. You can't help but think, especially after some of them, like they meet their end or they meet an end. Sometimes it's not clear, but this movie probably is. But that's our. Well, I think I gave too much away for the future, but that's where you get caught in with these characters, and you just can't help but like, and then you can't help but like, look, oh my God, like, are they like, they got to stay there. Like, this is their, now
yeah, they're
this
kind
is
of
their,
trapped in. Yeah.
yeah, it just like you can't help but you really get pushed into certain positions with this, and it's on purpose to build that tension.
Yeah, and the foster mother, played wonderfully by Sally Hawkins. Man, she's something else in this movie. And again, if you believe the brother and sister, you believe this lady. She's a little bit of a wacko, and then she kind of uses her talents as a psychologist to really get into the heads of these kids, and she really does a number on both of them. But yeah, the manipulation she does to Andy is just goes beyond everything, and it's one of the things about this movie is, I came in with knowing really nothing about this movie. I just seeing the poster and not really knowing anything about it. I sat down to watch this movie, and I think that's almost to the benefit of it. I think if you know too much about it, I think the surprises is what really gets you.
Right. No, I agree. Yeah, there is a distinct difference between Act 1 to as you progress through. All the way to the end, and it surprises you, and it you kind of see it coming, but you also don't. I mean, you suspect that horribleness is around the corner, and to what level it ramps up, and then it immediately ramps down, and then you also see the like there's some really hardcore scenes here that are hard to take. That are there, and it's not just one or two. There's like a few of them doled out, but
it's like a lot of times with a movie like this, where it's a lot of it's just psychological horror. You don't have the over the top grossness or extreme of violence that you get in this movie. It's and it kind of catches you off guard. It really puts you on the kind of knocks you off your feet a little bit, and it's I think it makes it that much more to it. I mean, your jaw kind of hits the ground, and you never get a chance to pick it back up.
Well, I'll just kind of set like how I'll just talk about like one of the scenes that I actually rewatched a couple times and made notes on. Was like when Laura and when Piper and Andy are coming into Laura's house and they're getting where they're going to stay or whatever, the bedrooms. She purposely is affectionate and overly affectionate to like on purpose to Piper. While like also like giving Andy the cold shoulder. That's kind of the start of like how she operates a little bit. It kind of gives you a little bit of a inkling in there, but
she does a little selfie with all of them, and she's blocking Andy.
Right, and
it's a little on the nose there.
and I also think too, like because and Piper doesn't even think about it or whatever, because Piper is used to people touching her to help guide her, I guess, which kind of I didn't think about, but it kind of makes sense. But she also is like when Laura does something, there's never purity behind it. There's a darkness behind it, and one of those things that, and of course you don't know this until after the fact, but and I won't give away too much. But when she's checking to see if Piper is fit for another character, so if she's a good vessel, essentially. I don't know if you caught this, but she touches Piper's face kind of the same way that when she like later on when she's like looking at her dead daughter, what you find out is her dead daughter later. Like she's like, I think it's a very weird forecasting that you don't think anything of this. Like when the first watch through, I had the benefit of I did watch this. I had to. Some scenes I saw a few more times than I wanted to, but for the most part, I was able to see this a little bit more. But anyway, I'll throw it back to you. Sorry, I'm rambling on, but it just kind of sets the stacking of how this is going to work. And that's not even talking about Oliver or, you know, like this other kid who's obviously not well and who's also in this orbit with all these people. And it's
yeah. Oliver, he kind of shows up, but he's unsettling, and he stays unsettling.
I mean, from the get, from the first scene, like I think this might not be his very first scene, but I remember, at least recalling from memory, was like when they're like looking at the backyard or whatever that, you know, they're walking through, and all of a sudden you see this empty pool, and then you see this you know, half naked boy, bare shoulder, and then you hear this awful sound, and I won't go into it beyond that, but like it's like, okay. Like I actually had to stop and like fast forward through that. I was like, I don't want to see that right now, like if it's what I think it is. It ended up not being that bad, but still that's just like one part of the movie, and I mean, and then it just ramps up. It just keeps hitting like a jackhammer. And it, anyway, this is from Australia. You had mentioned that before in the intro. Was this connected to maybe something else that we've also reviewed?
Yeah, I mentioned it at the top of the show, but yeah, Take Her Back. Or no, Talk to Me. Talk to Me is the name of it. Yeah, we weren't overly. We liked Take Her Back, but this movie really brings it home. I think they really hit it on all cylinders, and Joda Rin Phillips, who plays Oliver, is everybody's bringing their A game, and he didn't even have any dialogue to go through. You know, it's all in what he was doing, and his looks and his sounds that he makes and his actions.
And got to roll like raw performance.
Yeah, and he kind of goes through a transformation in this movie, and they told him, as it progresses and you start to lose a little bit of your humanity, we could have if it gets too much for you, we could get a stand-in for you. And no, he was gung ho. He wanted to go through the whole thing, and his parents are actors, and they were with him on the set. And he actually, the dad in this movie that dies at the beginning is actually his real dad. So,
oh wow,
so it was sort of a family affair. And I picked up the 4K that A24 did, and it has like a commentary track and also a behind the scenes thing, and it has one deleted scene. But yeah, it's kind of weird seeing the behind the scenes with the. Oliver done up in his makeup, laughing and having a good time. A lot of times with these horror movies, the reality behind the set is that they're actually having a good time and right. Enjoying making the movie, which is kind of antithetical to what you're seeing on the screen. But
right.
But yeah, it was a joyful. And I guess I can go into
please.
Packaging. You got that. You just get your disc. Sometimes they'll do like 4Ks and Blu-rays together, but A24
right.
just does. If you get the 4Ks, you get the 4Ks, and you have some postcards if you wanted to. Maybe if you don't like someone very much, you want to give them a scare by the mail. You could send them their very own Oliver postcard. But I don't know. I don't know what the thing is with these postcards. A lot of boutique places like to throw them in, but I could take them or leave them.
They sent when I had ordered from something last year from the membership thing. I can't remember what I ordered, but I ordered a tranche of things over the course of the year, and they sent me the Baby. I think it's called Baby, the Nicole Kidman movie that eerily kind of mirrored her. Anyway, it doesn't matter, but that was that postcard. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool, but okay, cool. Like it's a cool little way to honor the movie, have fun with it. But yeah, this one is, I'm going to put it back up here on the screen. But it was tough. It was a tough guy to follow. Like I said, I guess I just kind of went in and I was just kind of like, went in on a normal day and it was like, well, it's okay, what the fuck am I watching? And it's like, okay, this is a serious one. Okay, I gotta be in the mood to kind of get there. But
kind of have to lock in, yeah.
Yeah, no, you do. You have to make a commitment because it's like because it's just so easy to lose it from just the horrific, just things that these kids are enduring, and to what aim too. Also, also is like just as small, but yet evil as it goes. But that's this is like one that you don't spoil it. Because it is pretty new, and I wouldn't want somebody to. But it is definitely a very intense walk on the wild side for.
Yeah. It's definitely it's
what you can tolerate. Yeah,
it's definitely a psychological horror movie. It's also body horror. It's also supernatural horror, and they kind of take every one of those elements are brought to the nth degree on this movie. And also it's an Australian movie. You might not realize it through the screenshots. You usually when you think of Australia, you think of sand and surf, maybe some surfboarding or something. Right. But no, that's not this movie. It's raining. There's a lot of rain in this movie, and a lot of there's a theme of a lot of theme of circles. They keep reappearing throughout this. There's the swimming pool is kind of shaped like a triangle, but there's like a circle on the bottom of it, and right. there's just this reoccurring theme. And then one of the random things that happened that was sort of in line with this movie is at one point it's raining outside, or they have their rain generators generating rain, and this weird circular water pattern shows up on the glass door, and they go, "Oh my god, we got to film that!" It's perfect. Yeah, but for a reason, there's like there's that circle of life in this, or someone trying to recreate the circle of life. And right. Sometimes you shouldn't bring back the dead.
Right. Well, but a foul, corrupted version of it, obviously. And the other thing, it took me a minute to realize, because they kind of do it right in front of your face. And then there was like when I rewatched the earlier part of the film that I had a harder time with getting through. You literally see they do kind of give you Piper's point of view, and they occasionally fuck with your vision, just like hers. Like you see nothing. You don't even see your hand like on the wall, but you kind of see that her world is this world of touch. And it is a world of darkness, because that is her world, but you kind of see glimpses of what presumably what she sees for her point of view here and there. Especially like the transition of like when they were going to the house, after the dad died, and they were Frank's first visit with Laura, I think. They were going up there, and Andy and Piper and whatnot. And then that's also where they showed like they did kind of like a weird kind of shot, like a tilting shot kind of coming down. But what do they see? They circle. You're right. Yeah. This is about there is agency to the harder part of this than it gives. It looks just kind of nonsensical sometimes, but then things start to unfortunately add up as it goes.
Yeah, and the way they filmed it, it's a real location. The first floor is all there on location, but the second floor is on a stage. So so you do have that separation. Also, the house that they picked runs along a natural walking way, hiking trail. So they had all sorts of random people. It goes through the front yard. So you just have all these random people showing up, walking through, and they said that depending on what they're filming and what they're doing outside, they really got an eyeful of what the hell's going on here. And they said that that one night, yeah, they weren't filming, but yeah, just some random woman showed up and was staring into the swimming pool, and they had to come out and was like, this is private property.
That's
She
funny.
goes, she was like, no, I could be here. I was like, no, you can't.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah, there's like this really weird sense of people thinking that it's okay for them to kind of trespass at that
Right. Right.
particular location. It's almost like people were being drawn there for some reason. But yeah, there's I guess we're kind of halfway through our thing here. We can get a little bit more spoilery.
Well,
Again, if
actually, if I could dial it up, and then we can drop the bombs away, like because this movie is also unique for the it doesn't pull any punches. Like in Act One, you have this ramping up, and then you get to Act Two and Three, and you think if Act One was brutal, and it really, I mean, it's brutal, but it's paced. But then when you hit 2 and 3 and then going to 4, it's starting to go full fucking heavy metal. I'll just put it that way, and I'll hand it back to you as you navigate us into the probably really fucking brutal parts of this movie.
Yeah, and I got like especially the first half of the movie is really got kind of 70s vibes. You could probably find ties to Rosemary's Baby.
Right.
What I liked about this movie, how they did with Rosemary's Baby, it's just assumed, and you don't get. A lot of times, unfortunately, with some horror movies, you get this sort of lore dump at a certain point where you get all the all the ins and outs of what's going on, and everything's kind of becomes clear, and you got these clear rules that you have to go by, and whereas this movie, it's all kind of done through Laura watching these videotapes, and
Right.
you don't really get the you don't get to understand exactly how everything's working. It's just working,
Yeah.
And if she's done this, how many times have she done this? Her failed attempts, maybe,
Yeah.
what's really going on, and it's all right there in front of your face. She's not hiding too much, she kind of relies on the fact that you're going to turn away from it. You're not going to look at it dead in the eyes until it's too late.
Right. Well,
What's going on?
You're devil hit with disbelief for what the craziness that you see, and try to incorporate that, and right, like it reminds me of another movie that we watched. That I watched. That's one that I'll be quiet about. I'm not going to say what it is, but it also has a very kind of thing like where it tells you the truth, but you don't believe the truth. I mean, and then slowly as the story progresses, you start to believe the truth or something like it. That's so funny that it completely hits you from a different way than you're expecting for this. And that VH tape, essentially, like it's very. The other thing too is like this thing is kind of rammed through. I don't know how to put it, like shotgun through, but it is logical. There is logic there. It's just that you don't catch it the first time through. Anyway, I didn't for some of it, and then I saw like, oh shit. And then like when you watch it again, you can see like that the axe, like you had no idea how close the axe was going to drop on on the whatever,
Right.
but. Anyway, it's god damn, it's brutal.
Yeah, and all the characters are really fascinating, and Laura is one of the most fascinating characters in that she's manipulating the situation. She's got an agenda, and she's kind of treating the people, the children in her life as maybe props. Piper is almost like a doll in her dollhouse. She's kind of got her set up, and she's manipulating. And usually with a movie where there's this woman manipulating everything, and is turning forces against Andy. you know, a lot of times they're so smart, they think, you know, 7 steps ahead, whereas Laura's also like breaking down. She's mentally going crazy.
Right.
So there's a constant, you know, she's got so many plates spinning, and you know, is she smart enough, or has it in her to keep them going? And maybe she doesn't. And that was one of the things I found fascinating, because I was preparing myself as I was watching it for her to, you know, be there whenever Andy tried to push back and was trying to bring other people in to say, "Hey, you
Mm.
know, this isn't right. You know, something's going on," and it goes in a way that I didn't see going. But it all makes sense to the character. A lot of times when you have these surprise moments in a movie, they're kind of coming out of left field. And this sort of kind of comes out of left field, but it all makes sense. You know, when you think about it, it's like, oh, okay, yeah.
Right.
And a lot of times when people do something crazy in real life, you know, the signs were there, you just weren't, you know, looking for them. And
No, it's
this
true.
movie, like we were talking about, it's all out there. It's all exposed. It's just whether or not you're going to be looking at it and you know, making all of those connections. You know, this movie can be broken down into pretty basic terminology, but you're not willing to see those things, you know.
Well, this that I don't. There is a very very heavy bombing that A24 did on the
Mhm,
psyche for
mhm,
these films. There's this film that we're covering. There's one that I haven't finished it, and maybe we will. It might be appropriate if we do an extended. You know, maybe we always can extend a series here or there if we need to, but
mhm,
there is another one that Conan O'Brien is in, but it deals heavily. It deals with it from a completely different atmosphere or side thing. But essentially, it's that psychic, that either going into seeing a psychic. Laura, you're right, is in and out, right? So she is like obviously there to function, but
mhm,
in a lot of ways, it's fucking autopilot because there are other parts of her that are just gone.
mhm,
Or and she's just barely wobbling in on the
mhm.
line, you know, like before everything
Right.
kind of kicks out. And you can kind of see that through some of her behavior, aside from being a caretaker or whatever. But she's also like, not only is she a horrifically terrible caretaker in some aspects, but you kind of see it goes with the territory. After a while, this movie kind of stops keeping up the airs, and just like and then you just see everything and then everything. I mean, it doesn't stop, it doesn't shield you, it doesn't. But anyway,
Mhm,
that movie that I was talking about that we might get into is if I had legs I'd kick you. Anyway, has nothing to do with it, but it's just like kind of like this Laura is just this wall of like just barely functioning, you know, but she's driven by something else also too that you can see. But anyway, it sets for poor Piper.
mhm.
Like you literally have the, you know, innocent of the innocent, who is essentially it plays into her, you know, just here, you're going to put you here and here, you're a prop, like you
Mhm.
are meat for the grinder essentially.
Mhm.
This is where we get to. It's where we get to. But I'll
But
throw
yeah,
it back to you and see where you want to go with that.
well, I was gonna say that, yeah. So Andy's sort of our eyes through most of the movie, but there's a shift there that shifts to Piper towards the end,
Right.
and you really don't know if Piper has it in her to, you know, face what she's going through, since she, you know, she's lacking one of those elements that we all have, and she it's interesting to see her journey at the end. The you keep going. Okay, now this movie's been pretty brutal up to this point. You know, it's going to keep being brutal. You know, and also, you know, you look to Laura as the mother figure in this, and that, you know, a lot of times with the parent, you think, okay, well, they know what's going on, but this is all, from what I can gather, those context clues. This is the first time she's doing this, and she's messing with powers that shouldn't be messed with. And my God, that powder keg that's Oliver, that has something in him. It's like, how are you really going to, have control over the beast that's Oliver?
Well, you find out there's more to meets the eye than just this kid. It's not just him. There really is something going on, which leads you to get credibility for what else is going on. That is kind of like not. It's very discombobulated when you're first presented what the fuck's going on here. But then you kind of get the pieces together, and you realize that this son of a bitch is he's possessed. And it's just such a weird. It's so weird because like you at the start of the show you had mentioned that it covers so many different genres, including the supernatural, like point blank in front of your face. And I love how it does that because it kind of does it's A24 is very good with that material. That you get in. As much as I was repulsed by this, like at some point, I'll be able to kind of come back to this and appreciate a little bit more. Like this absolutely was like one of my favorite feelings that I like to chase for these, which is like you watch it and you're like, what did I just watch? Like, do I hate this? Do I like this? What the hell is this? Like this thing. It's going to take a little bit longer for me to process. That's the other thing too, which is a good film. You got to process it. You can kind of see the genius in it, but you can also see the brutality of it, and it does take a cost to watch it. But you when you see Oliver transform, I mean, there's certain giveaways like where it's like, okay, you see these awful things happen, and then you see the kind of like the next layer of it. Like if you stuck around a little bit too long in one spot and you saw too much and then you saw way too much. That's exactly what this movie is. That's exactly what this movie is.
Yeah, after seeing this movie, there's probably a couple of trigger words that will cause some reactions from people. Like if I said the knife, or the table. But yeah, they were talking about the scene with the knife and the brothers, and they were talking about there's
he ate a fucking knife. I mean, anyway, sorry, go on.
Yeah, but yeah, they said that that for some that's their favorite scene, and for some that's their worst scene. Yeah, their hated scene. But yeah, it does cause a reaction. This movie doesn't pull any of its punches, and I think that's one of the things with horror movies is I think a lot of times people kind of get complacent, and but horror really, if it truly is a horror movie, it really hits those buttons in you. It makes you feel uncomfortable. Some of them, a lot of horror movie now are just action movies with a little bit of oh, that's kind of scary, but it doesn't really challenge you. And I think some of the best horror movies are those that you're kind of ambiguous on how you feel, because it's kind of putting you through the ringer. It's really kind of tested your ability to handle something, and right. It's one of those movies, like you said, you kind of have to psych yourself up to kind of get through the movie, because I saw it in the theater and I was kind of locked in, and then when I had to sit down to rewatch it this weekend, it was sort of like, man, I don't know if I want to go through it right now. It's a nice Sunday. I don't know if I need this in my life right now.
Well, that's kind of the blessing and the curse with A24 that I found, which is like exceptionally good movies, but it's also like when you understand that if you're sitting in front of an A24 film, you're potentially sitting in front of an atom bomb that's going to go off in your face. And sometimes you don't really necessarily want to deal with that level of engagement or that level of articulation. But when if you can put that aside and you can get into it, it doesn't take too long. But you get you just instantly get with these. You know who is who. You just can't help but like just see the innocence. They stayed particularly long in the beginning. I know why they did too. When you see the very first person that you meet is Piper. You see Piper, you meet Piper. She's with her. She is not with what you think. Well, you think at first that she's with her friends, like a normal teenage girl, and then you come to realize, no. Not only is she not with her friends, but she's also. It's kind of like a very very big point and finger for how the rest of this shit's gonna go. You kind of see like these normal teenage girls, and then there's Piper, and then she's just asking a question. And they're just, you can see all of them visually. And this is the other thing too. She can't see them. And you're starting to get that because she doesn't react like a normal person would react, like with the way the girls were reacting, like the visual, the body cues. She's oblivious to it because she can't see them. And then her brother comes through, and then Piper's still hipping with it. So she's kind of like trying to be like, oh, whatever, like when somebody uncool comes through, and you want to not be cool, like if they're going to give you a big hug or kiss if you're with your kiddos and you like drop them off at the parent. Anyway, I read into too much into that, but like that scene was so important for me because it showed you kind of like in retrospect, it really shows like what is going on to like kind of put Piper in this in between land that you really. I had to stop this film. I had to stop this a couple different times for different reasons, but I eventually did get through it, and it does reward you if you can get on it because it is. I'm not going to talk about the ending, but I'll let Tom dictate if we do that or not, and I might play clips here or there from the thing, but. And also the world building also on point. That's one of the things that I didn't really talk about, but like you had mentioned, here in Australia, there's constant rain. There's something going on with water, and there's this thing with circles, and you can see it building. And there you go. I'll throw it back to you. How spoilerly you want to get with it, but.
Yeah. There's certain burst of violence. Also, you were talking about A24. If you read the papers, you know that A24's going big into horror. That could very well be the home of the slasher. If you saw where they've got that series from Friday the 13th, they have the Friday the 13th, and they just recently bought Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise, which they're planning on a TV series and a movie. So it's be interesting to see where they go with it.
Yeah, well, actually, let me look that up before I speak on it. But I kind of see the sorry, I'm just looking this up because I wanted to make sure. Because I always confuse the A24 stuff with the not A24. Like, I think it is A24. It's not. I can see that in the DNA of Maxine. I was going to say with A24, that makes perfect sense. And if you're a regular, you know that we covered Maxine as well. We are
along with Pearl and X. We've done the whole trilogy. But yeah.
Trilogy. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times people forget that A24 is just a movie distributor, so they probably have philosophies on how they pick and choose the movies they want to do. But yeah, it's the individual creators that kind of shape the vision, whether it's they're not. But yeah, I know that the guys behind this movie. They started off as YouTubers, so they have kind of the same kind of started off small, and I believe they're doing a sequel to Talk to Me, so that'll be interesting. But they always had this script along with Talk to Me, and they were always pushing to get this movie made. So yeah, when they had opportunity to do a second movie, they jumped on this one. And I think that does have that passion to it. there's a story that needs to be that they're kind of compelled to tell. It's not a nice little friendly story, but yeah, it's at times very very brutal, and that's I think that scene you were talking about early in the movie where we're introduced to both Piper and Andy, you immediately get, you could have probably had some more exposition, but you immediately get their relationship immediately. And I think when they were talking about this movie, the original cut of it was over 2 hours long. It was like 2 hours and 15 minutes. And at this point, it's 1 hour and 45 minutes. I think it's a testament to creators that can, find those scenes that really just tells you, kind of focuses in on who these characters are, and can make it, and make a cut that that's not like super super long. This movie doesn't really doesn't outwear its welcome. You get the story beats as they go, and there's a reason behind each scene and why it's there. It's not a bloated movie, although Oliver gets a little bloated in this. He's getting those late night munchies.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, well, I would joke that this would be an in and out movie. It's not really. I mean, but for the time that you're in with it, you get a very very quick rough crash course into the world of a demon. And the small universe of a demon, essentially, and then you're seeing like what happens, and then it's only after that. And I won't go into too much, but you do cross over a border, and there is a little bit of a relief. But if they're going to be making, these films, I mean, who knows? Like, who knows about that? Well, that naturally begs for a friggin' I hate to say it, but it is this. I don't know if this one would, but generally speaking, A24 films are what they are. They're usually standalone, but who knows for this? But golly, I mean, I don't know that you could do this again with something. I mean, maybe you could, but speak too soon. But you have some iconic scenes that there's also some other layered things in here too. Like when you go back and watch, like there is the shower. When the dad dies in the early part, and then that's not giving anything away. That's just part of the pillars of the film. So it's not spoilery, but there is some hallucinations that kind of happen that you don't catch right away. But anyway, you see that death is just one small part of the play that you're about to go into, and then of course the water too. Always another character in the background, kind of. I didn't really get anything from the music. I don't really recall I didn't really get anything from that, but that's probably the only thing that I really didn't kind of pull from. Otherwise, visually and everything else that's going on. There's a lot that it throws at you. It brute forces its way, and then when you rewatch it, you kind of unroll that, and you're like, "God damn!" Like, Jesus, wow. But it is a rodeo ride that if you like these kind of just shaken up, and then there you go. That this is one for that. This is one that kind of just jumbles you up, and you don't quite know what you're dealing with until it's right upon you. And even when it's upon you, you don't really want to believe it, which is exactly what it does. That's how it works.
And you could come at this in different ways. If you do come at it as a horror fan, it does reward you. There are like Mike and I said, there's clues as to what's going on. At one point, Andy notices some white paint bordering the the house, and if you're in on the horror lore, you might be tipped off with that. But yeah, there's little things in there. It's a movie that doesn't treat you like you're stupid. It treats you like you're smart, and I like those types of movies where it assumes you have a working knowledge of a horror movie, and it's there to kind of play with all the your expectations of a horror movie. It kind of goes in directions that you don't normally. You're thinking, okay, I'm in your typical horror movie. No, we're gonna do a few. We have a few tricks in our bag, and we're gonna throw some things at you that you, since we know we're gonna go when
even though you know
go
it
this way. Yeah, when you think we're gonna go this way, we're gonna take a swift turn and go a different way. There is something that happens to Andy that I really didn't expect.
right.
That really throws you off. Yeah, and it just it makes you go, okay, so this is what you're doing. Okay. So everything's off the table. There is no safe place here in this movie. We're going to go there, and whether or not people survive in this movie, that's not up to you. That's up to us, and we're telling a story. I think everything that's in this movie is kind of earned. There's not any moments where I think, oh well, that was cheap, or oh well, that's because it's a movie. It kind of treats this supernatural elements with respect, and sometimes when you're watching a horror movie, it's like, is that really how people would have did it? In the real world, there's some pretty mundane things you have to kind of deal with in the real world, and I think this movie really does kind of treats it in a believable way. I'll say that.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Well, it was train wreck from end to end. I mean, from all. nobody really wins, but there is redemption. Not really, but there is some relief. But it's just a fucking little relief after you've been through that. But anyway, this is another A24 film that makes you question, why am I watching this? And then you think about it, and then you can't help but be drawn back to it because you have a natural curiosity and question about, well, hold on, well, wait, I kind of remember that, but when you really go into it and you analyze it, there's not the answer you want, but there is an answer out there, which is also playful with A24 films in general. No matter what the subject matter too, which is disturbing in and of itself, but this one caught me, and we don't really do ratings here, but I'd say it's well above a 7. I mean, that sounds like what you have called this out before too. Like horror movies kind of get underrated a little bit. I think it's not a 7. It's not a 10 either, but it definitely is better than a 7. But I could see where it could be a 7 for somebody who isn't quite a horror fan. Is like, what did I just watch? But yeah.
Yeah, it's I saw this one and Weapons in theater, and I think there was actually a crowd for Weapons, but this movie I think there's only like a one or two other people there with me on this movie, and it really made me feel like kind of alone and isolated in this movie. There's not like a lot of times with the horror movie, you get the camaraderie of everybody kind of jumping, but in this movie, there's a lot of internal stuff that you're kind of dealing with. Depending on, everybody has different baggage they're bringing to a movie, but yeah, this movie, if you have any baggage at all, it may touch upon some of that stuff. So yeah, it's not an easy movie to get through, but I think you're rewarded if you do. I'll say that.
If you're a parent, this is going to be hard. If you're a parent, just in general. But there are lines that some people can go. Or not. That is certainly more often than not that a funny factor that I've ran into over the time with controversial or thing. Not necessarily controversial, but just too much for me, but I have occasionally hit that in the thing, but I have developed a little bit more of a immunity to it, a little bit, and a little bit of a taste too. But good grief, this one is intense. It didn't see it. This is one you don't see coming. This is one that you kind of put in, and you either viciously have to turn it off quickly, or you're compelled to watch and see what happens. And that was certainly true for me. In both cases.
Yeah, and 2025 was a really big horror year, and this is one of the big pillars of that year. And I think I'm looking forward to what Danny and Michael will do in the future. But yeah, just kind of listening to their commentary, they're willing to go that extra mile for everything. One of them was talking about how he was directing the person Billy who plays Andy, and he was actually under his the Andy the character Andy's laying on his bed, and the director was underneath the bed directing from under the bed, which is kind of going a little further than your average director would to make sure it you're right there with the actor. But yeah, I think their novel approach maybe to different ways of getting the actors in the performance they want from them is interesting. And yeah, I'm looking forward to what they do next. I wouldn't have imagined this movie as a follow-up to Talk to Me, but I'm glad we went here, and it just makes me excited about what they'll do next, which I think is the sequel to Talk to Me. But yeah, we'll see how they handle a part 2.
I think I think it's safe to say that in the next 10 years, these guys are going to really blow up and probably create some really legendary pieces because they're already doing it. They're already working at this level with unknown material and from a completely different part of the world than we're used to, and they do it very well. They have a very good eye for talent that they can find for these films, and also for the practical effects and doing absolutely getting the most out of the smallest that you have. So that comes through in levels of quality that you just don't see nowadays or expect. Again, it is completely devoid of the modern cinema making experience, like where they have to explain everything to you and it's action. No, this is awkward points of the camera, kind of like why are we spending so much time looking at that thing or that scene or whatever, and then you're like, oh, okay, well, or maybe it's not quite that clear, but it does build in layers, and that's what a great storyteller can do, and that's very true for this too. I'm glad that I'm glad that we waited to unwrap this one, and there's a lot more too, not only just for this month, but for the rest of the year, for like what we're going to be doing and our planning for our series that we're into. But I'll throw it back to Tom and see. I think we're at the tippy top of the tree. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, it's definitely this movie. You definitely want to check it out. I was looking at their rumored projects in 2023. There were talks of them being doing a Street Fighter movie, but they've reportedly left it due to scheduling conflicts. And then they were talking to Marvel Studios for a mystery project. But Talk to Me with the two between Talk and Me was officially in the works. They're also non-player characters in the brothers are in Death Stranding 2, the Hideo Kojima sequel video game. So that's interesting. He likes doing things with various directors. So, but whatever they do, to be honest, for these two guys, I'd much rather see something of them, an original idea as opposed to a Marvel or a video game movie However, I would be kind of interested to see what they do. But yeah, I do get more excited about an original project from these guys, I suppose. But you gotta make your bag. So I'm not gonna hate on them for taking. If Marvel's gonna give them millions of dollars to do a mystery project, I wouldn't blame them.
Well, it is what it is, but I do
Mhm.
want to see more from them. And I have no doubt that probably when it does come out and it's really super huge, um, these guys have yet to make themselves a household name really across the board. I mean, to normies, like to people like you and me, we've heard of them and we've certainly covered them, and people way more qualified than me and you have too as well. But still, as a fan, there's a lot of hope for the next, XYZ great film to be made. It can literally happen in a year, and it does, and it has, and we've had quite a bit of really good movies that break the norm of just cookie cutter, throw it out, and there's a place for those movies too. But there's also places for movies like this as well. And this is where you can take your time, slow down, and really be shocked or horrified. And it's kind of the point.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, what was your favorite horror movie of 2025? What was your favorite movie of 2025? Let us know in the comments. And hello to new subscribers. I know, yeah, not quite Archie's and Army of Darkness this movie, but but yeah, let us know what you think of this movie and what's your favorite, like I said, horror movie from 2025 was. But yeah, this movie kind of has a timeless nature. You could see when it was made just because of the cell phones and whatnot. But yeah, it's kind of got like that timeless quality to it, to where it doesn't date itself, and at times it feels like a movie out of the 70s, but it also feels as new as today.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I've been Mike.
And I'm Tom, and keep those kids away from those knives.
Eat the knife.